The hole in the ground. They arrived at the site, where a makeshift chain-link fence with razor wire had been erected. Men in hazmat suits and instruments were scattered around, taking measurements, readings, and collecting data. Stephen noticed a large armored SUV with missiles on top and another one with a satellite array. Beyond that was a trailer with insignia MCU US Army on the side. As Stephen exited his vehicle, he was met by one of the men in hazmat suits who handed him a suit. He suited up and followed them into the site, which they called the Anomaly. It was roughly 8 × 12 feet wide. There were steel beams and a pulley erected over it, with a basket that carried one individual at a time down. He was informed that they had been there for at least 3 hours before his arrival, and that if he followed the guidelines and didn't deviate, he should be fine down there. To Stephen's surprise, he looked at them with a blank stare. "What do you mean down there?" "I'm not going down there." "Sir, I'm sorry for the short notice. We have no other individual with your training and knowledge. We need you down there to assess the geological conditions. You can then determine exactly what kind of crystallization and exposure we're looking at." Stephen couldn't help but notice that no one made eye contact. He assumed that was for one reason only: he's expendable. Their only concern is whatever the hell this thing is, and something deep inside him feels that if he declines, they may decline to let him keep breathing. We're on Chapter 2. Title: Breakfast in bed. Stephen had always found solace in the silent embrace of caves, their cold walls reflecting the isolation he craved. This cavern, however, felt different from the moment he stepped inside. The entrance narrowed unnervingly behind him, as if the earth itself had swallowed him whole. His headlamp cast eerie, shifting shadows across walls that glistened with a moist sheen, veins faintly pulsing beneath their surface. The rhythmic thump he initially dismissed as the echo of his own heartbeat soon grew independent, syncopated, alien. His breath quickened. Perhaps it was the thin air. But there was something about the way the floor subtly yielded underfoot, spongy and warm, that unsettled him. From a side pouch, Stephen had set up a microphone under his mask, connected to a voice recorder. He always kept a journal and a log of everything he did. This was no different. With each step, an invisible tension coiled tighter around his mind. The walls seemed to ripple imperceptibly when he wasn't looking directly at them, the faint vibrations crawling up his spine like whispered warnings. His scientific reasoning faltered, overtaken by a primal dread he couldn't rationalize away. Panic bloomed slowly, insidiously. His instruments malfunctioned, corroding before his eyes as if time accelerated within this space. The realization struck with icy clarity. This wasn't a geological formation. The walls weren't stone, they were tissue, contracting ever so gently. The floor, slick and undulating, responded to his movements like a careful predator testing its prey's limits. He tried to retreat, but the passage had morphed, the familiar path now a labyrinth of constricting corridors. His breathing grew ragged, mingling with the oppressive humidity thick with a metallic tang. He scraped at the walls in desperation, fingers raw against the living flesh that quivered under his touch. His final moments dissolved into fragmented thoughts, terror eclipsing logic. His journal, the last testament to his discovery, bore trembling words blurred by the acidic mist. "Not a cave. It's alive. It's digesting me."